Seconded. Couple more seconds here. Okay, we'll call the Williamstown Select Board meeting of Monday, April 13th to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is to set the agenda. Anyone have anything to add to the agenda? All in favor of the agenda is written?
I'll make a motion to accept your agenda as written.
There's the one thing I added in the 22183 on the agenda.
We actually did that one. I was just mistaken.
Yeah, but it wasn't listed on the agenda.
Right. Yeah, we've already previously done that one. I thought we skipped it for some reason.
Okay, so just. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll open public comments is sheet up back for anyone new here that they want to participate. You can read that, see how things work. Is there any select board announcements? Any public announcements? Good. Commissioners, trustees, emergency service report, other board announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chair, from the planning commission, just have a couple quick ones. One is the urban and community forestry program requires the town to appoint tree warden every year. I've been listed as a tree warden, so they're asking if I'm going to be reappointed. I'm certainly happy and willing to continue in that role. I'll be at their urban and community forestry conference in May 28th, and I've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes with them, but that's one issue. Like I said, I'm happy to continue to serve in that role if appointed, and then I can take care of any paperwork once the minutes are done and send the things in for them. The next item is the planning commission is kind of at a point now where we're working on the town plan and want to get some public outreach to folks. So we can go over some of the things that we've identified in the surveys, and also some things that that we want to look at going forward. Resilience was a big one that came up time and time again. So we were looking to when the March 6th meeting that's going to be here to see if we can maybe have a tabling event and catch people as they're coming and going during the day to get a little dialogue going. We were also in that vein, we were selected by the state as one of 6 communities in the state to do work on climate planning, municipal planning climate guide. There's 3 different categories: municipal plan, climate guide, social resilience process guide, and capital program climate guide. So there's 2 communities each with those, and we're working on municipal plan climate guide to tie in. It's a pilot project to help tie in a lot of feedback into our town plan. So we're going through different modules. We'll look for some get together with some of the town leadership, going over some of these things, especially hazard mitigation and things like that. What it does is gives us a little bit kind of an enhanced town plan work effort from the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. They're able to get additional hours now to work on some parts of the local hazard mitigation plan, which of course has expired now, and then also the enhanced energy plan. So working through this process, it gives us some additional resources at no cost to the town to kind of bump up and enhance our town plan. So that's one of the other things that we want to talk to folks about, as we're moving forward. So that's what I have for this evening, and, we'll keep you updated as we're moving forward with, the Williamstown Town Plan.
I got a question for you. Have you heard anything from Ruben about the sidewalk study? From Ruben about the sidewalk study? Is he part of theirs?
They did say that was, going out, I mean, they said it was going out, and RFP was going out the last I talked to them, so I hadn't,
I can reach out.
I don't know if I've got any comments.
We said a thing that we were awarded a $20,000 grant.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that though,
I haven't heard anything since, is it?
and ask them.
So I'll need a motion to appoint tree warden.
So, I'm sorry, so I would need an appointment for the tree warden, after, if that was captured in the minutes, then I could move forward with that.
I'll make it.
I'll make a motion. Name again.
Rich Turner.
Rich Turner, to appoint Rich Turner for the tree
As,
warden.
the town tree warden.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made, seconded. Any discussion? What's the tree warden go?
Well, initially we worked, a number of things with Emerald Ash Borer, did some local planning, did some, plannings actually down the field too, before some of the flooding took a whole bunch of those, out unfortunately, but, Emerald Ash Borer is a big thing, but there's also other, look for different, native, not native, the non-native, insects. There's other ones like, the lantern fly, and there's woolly, a delgid, hemlock woolly delgid, so things on different trees and or insects, but also tree planting, community tree planting, try to do, street trees and things like that. So I worked with Dave on, a couple things. Well, he's doing projects, he's looking at ash trees, take down. When we first started, we did an ash tree inventory, and then we did a planting grant. So we've done 2 grants so far. And that's the other thing, that at the conference, they usually announce there's other grants available for some things, like some of it you can also get in kind. Usually it's a 1-to-1 match on that, but you could also get in kind match. So if Dave and the crews were out, taking trees down, they could get credit for that, and maybe that helps with some of the funding. So looking at the health of trees and what we could do for community and shade trees and things like that.
A few years back, we had an issue, I can't think what the name of this stuff was, but it's like bamboo stuff growing along the Stevens branch here.
So,
This gives rash, the kids are,
Ragweed or.
no.
the bamboo type, that's a Japanese knotweed, and that
knotweed.
keeps spreading every time, there's more flooding and things like that, so that's one of the invasive plants.
I know we had an issue with it in town along the Stevens branch. Down behind the Williamstown Square, a couple other places that they worked on. I'm guessing 5 years ago or more, probably.
Yeah, that's another issue. So, what they do at the conference too is go, do updates on a lot of the invasive plants and invasive insects. For instance, they're working on a biocontrol now for Emerald Ash Borer. So that'll be one of the topics that we'll cover later on this month, or in May rather. But yeah, that spreads pretty rapidly in a lot of places. That's been an issue too.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
For stepping up and.
Yeah.
Did you have something?
Yeah. I just wanted to announce that, I don't have to send you guys an email, but I just, announced it publicly that, our fire safety officer, Mike Greenium, passed away, on April 1st from his battle with cancer. I just wanted to kind of touch base on what Mike did, for the fire department, that he, basically when he came to us, he was pretty much retiring. He'd spent his career with the Underhill Jericho Fire Department, where he grew up, and then he moved to Williamstown and joined our department pretty quickly after, after coming here. And, he came here wanting to do anything he could to help the fire department, and at the time, with his expertise, I was the first, second year fire chief, and, we were struggling to get ourselves administratively, set, to a professional level, and he was the backbone behind getting us where we are today, administratively. And then he took the role on as safety officer, which is a role that, we hadn't had in years, and helped kind of form that. But nevertheless, he was here for a short time, 11 years, but he really helped get the fire department to where it is administratively. So with that said, his services will be in Jericho Saturday. 3 of our trucks will be going, the ladder truck will be going for hanging the flag. There will be a fire truck procession. I'm taking the fire department out of service that all of us are going, and I have Berrytown and Northfield covering us. And as of right now, I believe Berrytown is gonna be, manning the truck in the station for the time that we're gone, so that Williamstown is covered. So I want everyone to rest assured that if something happens in Williamstown, there will be a fire department coming. It will be 4 to 6 hours that we will be gone. It's a big deal up there, so it's not just a quick service and back. So, I just wanted to, let everyone know that Saturday, from, I think about 10 a.m. to hopefully we'll be back by 4, but in that time frame, we will be out of service. So, if you have any questions or concerns, happy to answer them. But that's,
Sounds like you're doing the right thing.
unfortunately, it's the right thing. He was, his main job was with the Division of Fire Safety, so he was president of the Vermont Firefighters Association at one point, so he's pretty big deal. Quiet guy, but pretty big deal for the fire service. Yeah, we're going out there to do whatever we can to put them to rest, so. I want you guys to know that.
Well, thank you for giving us a heads up on it.
Hopefully it'll be nothing. Everything will be quiet.
Nobody burn any grass or anything.
Right.
Cool. Anything else for anybody? Good. Okay, next item is approval of warrants. Anybody need to excuse themselves from any of them? Or do them separately? First was 22-183. A motion on that.
Make the motion to approve.
We did one.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, 183, we've already done, sorry. We should just have 184 and 185.
Okay. Then we move on to 22-184. Motion on that,
I make a motion to accept 22-184.
your second.
Second.
Motion made second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right, opposed? Okay, next one is 22-185, have a motion on that,
Yeah, I make the motion to accept.
any second,
I'll second it.
motion made second, any discussion?
I'm accusing myself because there's fire departments.
The only question I have, to be honest, I want to something and just check into is the charter. It just seems like the amounts are inconsistent month to month. Like for the 1-8, I know we already did 183, but like 183. For Meadow Street, it's $639 last month. But this month, it's $370.
We could have, I mean, we've been having some issues with invoices not being sent to us from a few different companies. 1 of 3 could have been a double payment, and I can look into that.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it sounds like, but I'll look into it.
Well, yeah, cause. You know, for the town office, it's the same thing, we got 419 on 3-1, and then 320 on 4-1. Parkway Hills, then the sun. Yeah, just something to check.
So.
Yeah.
On favor?
Aye.
Opposed? On the payroll. Warrant, for 322. And I guess you can raise you guys.
Yeah, no, I.
Okay. Just do 322. For motion that,
I'll make the motion approved on 322.
I accept,
motion made, second. Motion made, second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, next one is payroll 445, period and then 45. Any motion on that one?
I'll make the motion to approve as written.
Your second,
second that,
motion made, second, any discussion?
recusing myself.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, opposed? Okay, we're gonna approve the select board minutes. For the 3-9 first. Your motion on that?
Make the motion to accept as written.
Your second,
I'll second them.
motion made, second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Next one is, select board minutes for March 30th. There's motion on that,
Make a motion to accept as written.
your second,
Second.
motion made, second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Here's. Well, the managers report, right?
Spent 2 days last week at the Municipal Solutions Summit in Woodstock. It's a pretty new summit. It was only year 3 for that. But it is, a kind of conference, where town administrators and town managers and, city managers sort of can just go exclusively to meet and kind of have roundtable discussions about problems we're facing and ways that different people have handled different things. So it's a very hands-on conference. And it was more of we could have a back and forth discussion rather than you just sit there and have someone talk at you for, 3-4 hours. So I found it to be very valuable. I found quite a few resources to help me update the personnel policy, handle some HR issues, and figure out where grant help and other municipal tools can be found that I wasn't previously aware of. And some invaluable advice being offered by other town managers that have been on the job for 2 decades or more. A couple of them are retiring from Hartford and from Windsor. So they have a lot of stories to share. So I just found it to be one of the more worthwhile conferences I've been to, especially for networking. I heard back from our town attorney, Nick Lowe, concerning the town's ability to put articles on a ballot to be voted on by Australian ballot. So at town meeting, we had put the forensic audit as an article to be voted on by Australian ballot rather than from the floor. But it turns out the town does not have the ability to call for voting by Australian ballot unless we're backed by a state statute or we're backed by the voters. They said they wanted it that way, but we didn't have either of those things. So unfortunately, So like an example of something, backed by a statute would be the bond vote. The bond vote has to be, voted on by Australian ballot. Because it's written right in Vermont state statute, just gives us the ability to do that. So unfortunately, that means the forensic audit vote is invalid because we decided it by Australian ballot rather than from the floor. We had a gentleman come last meeting and was wondering about the town's ability to do that, and I said I would reach out to the town attorney, and that's what he came back with.
I'll ask you a question.
Yeah,
Now, the select board voted to put that on the Australian ballot.
yeah.
Do we need to vote to have a special meeting for it? Or do we choose not to just do it? I mean, the vote was pretty resounding.
I mean, it is up to you guys. I mean,
I don't see wasting the town's money. These
Yeah.
people spoke pretty loud and clear about it.
right. And it's not something we can include on this upcoming, road rehab, because we already set out all the parameters for that.
Right.
And that's been warned already. But I mean, think about putting it on the next town meeting if people are still interested. From the vote fell, it wasn't like a close vote or anything, but
If people feel strongly enough about it, they can petition the board
Yeah.
to force it if they want, but I can't see wasting town's money having a special meet for that.
Yeah.
If the vote, wait, if it was close, it'd been a different story, but already been close. What's the rest of the board think?
I would say that it needs to go back to either town meeting or have a special vote. I don't know if because it would have to be through a voice vote, correct?
from the floor, yeah.
So that would not cost the town much money, I don't believe. Asking me.
You probably wouldn't, but vacations are starting
Yeah,
and I
no.
got some lined
Well,
up,
I'm-
ready to
Yeah,
go.
no.
I won't
We
be
can
available.
figure a date, but I feel like if we just say
Got
we didn't
primaries
do it
on.
legally and now we're just gonna sweep it under the rug, that is probably not going to look good.
We're not sweeping.
Yeah, not sweeping on the road. I think what they were trying to say is,
We'll put it on next year's town meeting.
yeah,
And so I think we should make a motion and vote to put it on next year's town meeting now.
There's different, there's primaries coming up, there's different ways you can do it, I just against having a special meeting.
No, I'm saying, I'm fine with that, I say, we just, I'll say. I can make a motion if you'd like. I make a motion that, what article was it? Two,
Article 2 or 3, yeah, to Article 2, 3 is the bond vote.
okay, I make a motion that Article 2. For the 2026 town meeting vote be moved to Article 2 of the 2027 town meeting vote.
Your second,
Yeah, I'll second that.
most made, seconded, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I vote.
You should also put when you're doing the warning for town meeting, to put that article back out there, whether all Australian ballots need to be voted from the floor. It might change. I mean, a few months ago, we had Amy Gilbert in here saying, who decides all this? I said, probably roughly 70 people that go to town meeting day decide the $1 million budgets. I think it's worth putting back on for an article to be voted by the town to put it on Australian ballot. I mean, to put all articles on an Australian ballot. I know it does away with town meeting, but
Yeah,
you're
that
talking
was,
millions of dollars on highway and just general fund and all these, and with the 60 to 70 roughly people that attend town meeting. Some people can't get away for town meeting to vote, so. I'm just saying it's worth looking into putting it.
well, the people at town meeting are the ones that vote on that,
Mhm.
and they consistently vote it down, so. People who'd want it Australian ballot would have to come to town meeting to change that,
Right, right.
so.
Just a thought to put it out there. I just think with 3,500 voters, registered voters on the checklist, only roughly 70 attend town meeting to vote
How
the
does,
money.
how does school do it? Do they have vote at town meeting to put the school budget on the Australian ballot?
That was, I believe, decided to move, it was an article, I mean, you have
It was
to
done
vote
at- it's done at
on
town
the
meeting.
floor to move it to Australian ballot.
Well, town meeting. By Australian ballot. To do everything Australian ballot.
Oh, wait a minute, how we get, they didn't vote it on the floor to do it that way, they did it by Australian ballot? So how can we do that? They say we can't do any Australian ballot.
Hey, no one complained. I don't know.
We need to do some more research on that. It's gonna have, you're never gonna outrule the people like to go tell me.
Yeah, 'cause they love going to town meetings, they love the debate, which is
Yeah.
totally understandable, but.
Yeah.
You have the people that complain about the taxes and being so expensive that they can't go to town meetings. Yeah,
I don't-
I meant 2,500 registered voters, not 3,500. 3,600 people in town, 2,500.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, I just try to figure out how we can do it, we can't have an Australian ballot for anything. How we ever gonna let people really decide, other than the few that sit down me?
People would have to take the day off and come in to change it. That's,
Unless you can figure out some way we can get around that, to have an Australian vote for it.
Yeah, we can do.
I would look into it further, I mean, something like that should be decided by more than just a couple people tell you, so that's, I don't know.
Let's see. Where I've arranged for the warning of the upcoming bond, revote meeting to be published in the paper for the appropriate number of weeks, which will be every Tuesday going forward until the actual meeting day in May. I have also posted the meeting in the 5 required spots around town, the town hall, public pantry, post office, library, and bank. I will continue to put the word out about the vote and informational meeting through our website, social media, Front Porch Forum, and everywhere else I can think of. If you have any other ideas about how to get the word out, just let me know. I worry it's gonna be hard to catch people's attention to do this special meeting, off cycle, but. So speaking of getting information out to residents, I wanted to pitch the idea of getting a phone app for Williamstown through a company called GoGov. I started one in my last town for Fairleigh, which we named the Fairleigh Focus. It really helped get information out to various groups that don't read the paper, don't use social media. It was kind of like a nice, thought all these people in between. It will give us the ability to push out notices in real time, not only about emergency situations, but about like fun events in town and, special meetings and anything that we want folks to be aware of. And it has a ton of customization and utility, including, bill paying right from the app. And we can have links to any other app we want, map of the area, it ties directly to our website. It will run us $3,900 for a design and a first year annual fee. But we do have enough currently in the computer services account under the general operating budget to cover this cost, if that's something you want to consider. Fairleigh took about a year to really catch on, but by the time I left, in a town of 1,000 people, I had like 420 or so signed up for it. It just took some time to get the word out. And the thing people like is you don't have to do any signups. You just download the app and it just sends a notification to your phone every time I push something out to the app. So I'm like, don't go on this street because power lines are down. You push that out, people get a little buzz on their phone, they'll look at it, and that's it. And it just gives you the ability to put a lot of stuff out there for people to see. And in that town, it just helps catch those people who don't want to use Facebook and they're not the older crowd that reads the newspaper every day, but it's just a huge chunk of people that had no idea what was going on. Because we had a lot of issues, people calling for more transparency, but they also didn't want to get directly involved in any way, in the meetings or anything like that. So it was an interesting workaround, but just something to consider.
do you know how much after the initial design and first year did the cost go down?
It'll probably, if what I had in Fairleigh is any indication, it'll probably run us like $3,000 a year, with a free redesign every few years. Yeah, I mean, it's not like cheap, but it is an option to consider if we want to reach out to folks.
And is it 3,900 plus 3,000 the first year, so it's essentially
No,
six?
the first year is
3,900.
Yep.
That part.
Yep. And that's just for like the basic.
Yeah, just.
Everything I just described, but we can do, if we wanna pay more money, it can do like a crazy number of things that. Some of which are crazy AI driven things that I don't want any part of, but.
Yeah, I mean, being a firefighter in the town, I currently have 3 apps on my phone just for the Williamstown Fire Department, so. Apps are a thing of the future. They all do different things.
Met with the recreation board recently to see about helping them get some new excitement and events planned out for the year. We had 2 members give their resignation, which I have on new business later in the meeting. But we have some renewed interest in other folks joining and getting some events planned out to the town. We had 12 people show up, only 3 of them, only 2 of them in person were actual members of the board. There was 1 on the phone, but everyone else, people just sort of heard about it and they really want to help out. A couple people from Billtown Wheelers were there. The woman who runs Tasty Bites was there because she wants to bring her food truck around the different events. And then we got 3 people there that wanted to join. It doesn't look like they're here now, but yeah, just got some good excitement going. Megan really tried to get some stuff going for the Memorial Day parade, but she just could not find any volunteers and hardly anyone to actually be in the parade. So what they decided they would try is to push the parade out to the fall and have it on the same day that the pub does their fall festival. Since people are already all gathered in there, we can have a parade. It gives them a lot of time to start building up some interest and a new batch of volunteers with other little events that they want to host and try that out.
There's gonna be a lot of people in town. Cause they had a wicked turnout for that last year.
Yeah,
We're gonna cram a lot of people in here.
They do a fall thing at the schools too, craft fair or something like that, I suppose.
yeah, I think I never cracked it.
What I'm saying, is that the same, that was gonna be the question, is that the same day as the, I think they call that.
It all over in one day.
I guess you gotta spread the wealth, you know,
Yeah.
a little bit, gotta have a little bit of flash after school once in a while. It won't
Talked to
leave the
the-
ball field.
I talked to the pub, they're thinking about September 12th for their fall fest, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get some more, get some events going, get some excitement. They're gonna do,
Parade gets smaller every year,
yeah,
probably would hurt, let it rest for a year or 2. I like Rodney's idea last week, but
What?
get stuff ready for the 250th anniversary, I think, get
Yeah.
big splash in.
yeah, and if the parade doesn't happen, it might get people to notice and start asking some questions, like we need people to step up, so might be a good recruitment thing too.
Well, if it's gonna get moved to that date, which is not a bad idea. If to have Lindsay, whatever, get that date locked down prior to, and then puts out some flyers ahead of time,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you'll probably get a better attendance. I mean, it does kind of go by about a week out usually, and
Is Megan gonna touch base with, like, if they're all good with it, is Megan gonna, can she touch base with Jeff and work together on getting flyers, and he can hand out flyers there? And
Yeah.
that way the people coming for that will know about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really likes, I think she uses like Canva or something, she makes up all the stuff she posts on social media, flyers and all that stuff, yeah. But she's getting burned out, she just needs people to help her, so.
I don't know. Should try to work it around, I know there's some major races like the Milk Bowl and the Labor Day Classic at the racetrack, should try to avoid those weekends, because a lot of people don't do that. And Northfield has their big thing on Labor Day weekend every year too.
Yeah, I think, well, will be the weekend after Labor Day weekend.
And it's before Tunbridge Fair, because Tunbridge Fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, word around that too.
Yeah, we'll just work around everybody. and
Windows get
everything.
narrower.
On that one day, lock it in.
It'll be hard to lure them away from Tunbridge Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delinquent taxes due, $234,603. We've recovered $24,380 since the last time I updated you in March. Well, I spelled utilities wrong. Delinquent utilities are $34,486. We've recovered $2,112 since the last time I updated you. That's what I got.
Well, you want to answer on that app thing that you talked about?
You guys can think it over and just let me know. We do have the money in this year's budget if you wanna use that up before we
You want
switch over.
you want to table to next meeting, or is everybody comfortable enough to vote about it this meeting?
I'm comfortable enough to vote on it.
I'm good with it. I mean, so you said 3,900 for the first year, it'd probably be around 3,000 after that.
Now, on that note, you can drop the service at any given time without any penalties or whatever.
We would have to do some 1-year contracts.
Okay, but at the end of that year.
Yep.
The militia's come. I don't know, you guys say, gonna vote on it? Good, good, with it? So they make a motion, we'll do
I'll make a motion. Let me see the book here. That Williamstown creates a GoGov app not to exceed $3,900 for fiscal year 25.
for a second.
I'll second it.
Well, motion made, secondary discussion.
My only thought is maybe before doing it, trying to find a way to kind of put out a poll to see if people would want it. I'm not sure what the best way to do that would be. Whether it's somebody stands at pump with a paper or whatever it is, but instead of spending the money first and then you only get 100 people that use it, try to figure out if people actually want to use it or. That's just my first thought, but
No, that's
Gonna be hard to know unless we get it out there so they can use it.
that's what I mean, like trying to figure out a way to poll people, you know, to somehow take a poll.
They make an app for that.
Barbara, a question for you.
Yeah,
Is there anything illegal about handing out paperwork at that vote? See if people are interested in something like that?
you would have to do it outside the polling place, so like in the lobby, you can leave informational outside in the lobby.
Even if it's town business?
By rights, I guess you could put it, because doesn't,
I know you can't.
it doesn't reflect on a vote, it's not a decision making, but yeah, I guess you could put something right as you walk in the door.
My question is, do we have resident or voters' email addresses? Is that something that the town has? Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I was gonna say like a Survey Monkey. I get
Could
plenty of
we-
those in my life.
Could we work with the school? Maybe, they could send out to parents,
Could do that. I mean, the school definitely has
That's a
everyone's email, cause I get
big
plenty.
majority of the town.
If we could do that and maybe put something at that rehab vote.
Yep.
Maybe just table it for now and see what all turns out and go at that point. Everybody good with that?
I would say maybe for the rehab vote, if you're concerned that there's any, we may, just wanna make sure that it's meeting all legal standards. Which is
We
what,
also
500
have it
feet?
probably at the school vote as well, that's the 20.
Is it 500 feet? Is that how far they have to be away from the ballot?
Well, if we're not supposed to do it, and we do it,
Well,
somebody will
if it
point it out,
doesn't vote, it's
but it'll
vote
be done,
to the other vote.
and
We ain't voting on it.
Well, that is.
See if they'd like to have something. I'll hide the hanging flag. That's all I ever get in trouble for.
yeah.
I didn't know.
This is Clayton's idea.
No, yeah, go ahead. I won't be filling out one of these.
Okay, what, you guys wanna do that, just table it for this meeting and then see what we
Yes.
can do to get the word out there.
Together,
We'll do it
oh, see where.
next meeting or something.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Anything else, anybody have questions, Rodney?
So back to the 250th year,
Is that gonna be put onto the rec board, or is that gonna be a separate committee, or? How you
I would guess,
can't wait till 4 years from now to start.
yeah, I don't
You
think,
gotta do fundraising and stuff like that.
if we're gonna do something big like that, I would think we'd have to get some kind of committee put together for it, but
I'm volunteering for it.
You are?
Me.
What's that, Rodney?
The newly from.
That Rodney volunteers to head that committee up?
I'll join up with you. I mean, I ain't got enough to do after this. It's over with, so
You got a little time.
I'm always up for good parties. So. Okay, we got
Good
two
old fire
members.
burners. Yeah.
You're right, you're good down. No.
That would be good, though.
Two volunteers, all right.
Sure you don't wanna get on this, Barbara?
No, I think I'll sit this one out. I'll support it. I'll support whatever ideas anybody comes up with. And what year is this? 2020? 2031, 2031.
31, right?
Yeah,
2031.
yeah, you have 5 years.
1781, it says on the sign.
So this will be,
Okay. We'll get, talk some more about it when it gets closer.
Well, it's separate. Yeah, you can back that word out.
5 years ago, we might not even be here.
I may not even, no.
We're in the fourth quarter.
Probably that's a good reason to put the word out, I guess.
I don't know, Jimmy Dale.
Can we put a post-it note on this meeting to read? You know, come back to the story, providing everybody's still here, you know, and like in 3 years from now to pick up to make sure everything's still good, right?
Reminder.
Right. Put a little hashtag on there or something to pop up. Hey, guess what? There you go.
Okay, on the new business, highway truck refurbishment. Mr. Wilder?
Okay. So the town, currently has 2 tandem dump trucks and 2 fixed-wheel dump trucks. Our tandem dump truck replacement schedule is 10 years. We have one 2015 tandem dump truck that would be up for renewal to be replaced. At this time, a new replacement truck is running about $290,000. And it's taken anywhere from 18 to 24 months to get said truck. Our 2015 truck, the truck frame chassis part of it is still in very good shape. It's got just over 80,000 miles on it. And it's one of our better trucks. But the dump body on it is in pretty poor shape. It's been a problem since the truck was new. It's been worked on 2 different times and had major overhauls done to the body, and it still is not right. The side dump doesn't work right. It causes issues during sanding, doesn't sand very well. What I'm asking is to possibly replace that body on that truck. Keep that truck for another 5 to 7 years. Being that it is such a good truck. A replacement body, I tried to get 2 quotes from 2 different companies. Viking up in Williamstown, seems to be the major truck body for municipalities right now. Enco used to be here up in Berrytown. They were bought out by HP Fairfield and they moved everything down to Hopkinton, New Hampshire. But that truck has a Tenco body on it, and I've had a hard time getting parts for it because of all of their Tenco stuff went to Skowhegan, Maine. We still have to deal with Hopkinton, but all the parts are in Skowhegan, and to get them, they don't have a truck that delivers. And they wouldn't give me a price on the body anyways. I've been working on this for 2.5 months.
I made 20 phone calls to the salesman for Tenco. All you'll do is, yeah, it's gonna cost you around $49,000. I said, well, I kind of need a written quote. I was able to get a written quote from Viking. I still, as of today, have not gotten a written quote from him. So personally, it doesn't bother me a whole lot because every one of our other trucks has a Viking body on it. So if I have a feeder chain that breaks on this truck, I have parts for it in the mechanic box. I can fix it. The Tenco, I can't. So I would personally rather go with the Viking. The problem with the Viking is it comes primed, not painted. The Tenco is painted. So, and it's 5 to 6 months to get the body. The reason I'm pushing it as hard as I am is because if I order it tomorrow, I'll have the body in September. It would be installed up at Norwood, Southwood shop. And then it would go to Bob Tassie's for paint. Bob has already talked to Bob, he said he'd paint it, give me a price of $6,500 to paint it. I'd have the truck for the road rehab project. And then it would go in for repair late September. And or in for replacement, and it would take 3 to 4 weeks. So I'd have the truck back by the end of October, 1st November for winter. If I wait any longer, I'm not gonna get it done for this next winter. I'm gonna have to deal with what I got, which, you know, the total cost, if the truck body through Viking is $39,700, it would be around $4,500 to install it. Between that $4,500 and $5,000, and Bob Tassie would paint it for $6,500. So the total cost would be $51,200.
Are we set as far as the equipment reserve fund, we got money in there?
We did. This would, of course, go into next year's equipment reserve fund because the body wouldn't be paid for until we received it. And Jen and I went through what comes out of our equipment replacement, our equipment reserve fund every year. We got a payment on both 6-wheelers and a payment on, the cat loader. And it would still leave us almost $80,000. So the 51,000 would be a 1-year thing. And we still wouldn't be draining it.
So about $30,000 left.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper than 490.
Budget. Anybody else have any questions for Dave?
Yes, I do. Good information, like, and I understand the deal. What about Iroquois truck bodies? Now, I'm just pitching it out, they used to be down in Virginia, not Virginia, but,
Iroquois doesn't do line bodies, which are the chain driven spinner type bodies. They do tailgate sander bodies.
Yeah.
Which over the years they found don't work well.
right,
The other one is, Everest makes a body out of, and there's a company in Scouting in Maine that sells Everest bodies. And they were, I don't know anything about Everest bodies. I've been told that back in the day, they were a very good body. But they're all running in that $49,000 to $53,000 range. And there again, parts are not readily available. Viking has a body, has a store in Williamstown, and they stock pretty much everything you need for your bodies right there. So it's a 45 minutes trip to get the parts that you need to fix them.
right now, you don't have to tell me on the convenience part, I've already figured it out, myself, this is the first time I've seen this. The need for it right now, I'm just saying, pitching out, it would have been nice to know this last month, so I could ask you, hey, instead of going with, the Viking, automatically the Viking body, step out of the box, find some other
That's what I've been
truck
trying
body
to do.
companies and bring them back. If somebody doesn't get back to you, then get another one.
Right, and that's what I've been trying
If you
to
came
do.
back with 5 people and put out 5 different, vendors and had a list and say, and this is the only one that came back, there weren't many questions.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Hey,
And Larry knows, I've been working on this for 2.5 months. It was supposed to be on the agenda, I think, last month and a month before that, but I've been pushing it off because I've been trying to get a second quote from multiple.
Right.
different manufacturers.
I get that, but the guy you were, or the person you were trying to get it from was basically, was a shit body. You know, they've had problems with it, so I would have gone a different route,
Right,
vendor,
that's
different
basically
vendor,
three
and-
different,
we only have one.
there's basically 3 different manufacturers of the wide bodies that we run on our municipal trucks. And that was the Everest, the Tenco, and the Viking.
You said you talked to both those that are in the 49,000.
49 to 53 was the range. The Tenco body was 49. And that was a direct, the reason the Viking body is a little bit more is because we're going from a Tenco to a Viking. With the Viking, and it has to have a hinge replacement. The Tenco was a direct bolt on, so the actual body cost was, when you figured in the paint, was
So they're
roughly the same.
all the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're all close. I just couldn't get it in writing for you guys to look at.
I know
the
you
second quote.
were talking to me about it before Ryan came on board.
Yeah,
So I know he's been working on it.
it's frustrating because, you know,
I like the idea you got parts right here, cause you have the trucks that Viking.
Yeah, all four
Not that I
trucks.
love it any of them. but-
all 4 trucks would be, parts would be interchangeable then.
So we wanna make a motion, approve or disapprove this thing?
No, it's a lot cheaper than the new one. For sure.
I'll make a motion to spend the 51,200 to do the Viking body.
For a second,
I'll second that.
motion made, seconded, any further discussion?
You said you reached out to 3 companies?
Yeah.
And they're just not, or, I mean, that's the biggest thing, the RFP that we just, as long as that's being followed, I mean, we can't.
Yeah, we can sole source things when
Yeah.
there's just nothing available, so
Okay.
if they can't get that.
I just wanna make sure we're following the policy appropriately. And it sounds like you are, if they don't email you back or, you know.
All in favor?
Hey,
Opposed?
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you for looking into it.
I get one question, Rick. Hey, how's your grader running?
Wow, you're quite great if it quit raining. You want me to go grade South Hill?
No, I wasn't talking about Southville,
What are you talking about?
Baptist Street.
Like, it's crust ledge, it's crust ledge. If I grade it, it's gonna be 6 inches of slide. It's just not dry enough yet, Scott. I
I
could
did South
grade-
Hill today. and
I could grade Stone Road, I could grade South Hill Road, I could grade Hebert Road. Right now, if that was the only 3 roads I could grade, then I won't do it if it's gonna rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose they have thunder showers next couple of days.
Yeah, I want to, bad. I'm sick of driving on them myself.
But I was looking for Dave, shall we let him go?
Yeah,
They're getting good. Okay. Next is, Q3 budget review.
So I'll have the latest budget numbers in your packet. I didn't see anything that really stood out, the line for legal aid is way over, but that's just because of the situation the town found itself in. It's here. That gives a lawyer quite a bit.
She has nothing that jumps right out at you, this, double things.
No.
It was just a FYI, basically.
Yeah, it's good to, you know, review these and if you guys catch something that I didn't see, if you have any questions about anything, any concerns.
So we could, we got this, we could look it over, if we had any questions, we could give you a call and we'll look at it. Nothing we need to act on, anything tonight.
Nope. And I thought you guys did just use probably a quarterly peek at how we're doing. We're gonna have multiple eyes on
And
things.
this is just for the quarter or everything from the beginning of the fiscal year till now?
Yes, everything from the beginning of the fiscal year till now.
Okay. I'm assuming most of the stuff that says 100% is just because that's a one-time
Yeah,
cost thing.
So like my question, just looking at it, the fast squad, I don't think they actually respond to much. How, so it's zero budget to wages are 1750, have we actually, has the fast squad actually been paid $1,750? Like it says $0, but then it's page one, it's 5 on the bottom, I just, like that's one that it's, I mean, they get a budget. I just don't understand,
They haven't submitted anything this year.
so they're not actually, so that isn't actually being spent.
We're supposed to have $12,000 budget.
So
But I guess like my question is, why does it say 100% if they? I'm just trying to understand the math. Or what, like obviously up top where it says like all the way up to top professional audit, $50,000, actual 11,275. That makes sense, there's a budget. And then a percentage of, but fast squad is 0. Then actual percent. Like I'm sure there's some other places that kind of look like that, but
Oh, I see.
like it says 0 to, yeah.
thought.
Oh, yeah, one way to think.
There was no budget put in there for the fast food. That's why it says 100%. No, there's only actual in there. There's no budget for this year.
We had,
But they get $12,000 a
originally
year.
it was supposed to be 12,000 a year for the fast squad.
But there's, yeah, but when you look at the report, no one put anything in for the budget on that side. See how it says all 0 in the budget?
Yeah.
No one put anything in there for budgeted numbers. That's why it says that.
Because the fast squad is, so 1,725 have been paid to the fast squad?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, they still have $10,000, just under $10,000. And they're, well, okay. That's what I'm just trying to understand. Their budget is 12,000 overall.
right,
Yeah.
And they, okay,
so
Where are you seeing this
On page-
$1,000 change? I see the 12,000 0 and then the 0.
page
Where's
5.
the other one? Okay. Thank you.
Or page 5, I thought you heard me say page 5, all the way at the bottom.
The $12,000.
Fast one, okay, there we go.
On the tax payments. Yeah.
Use their rent.
Yeah.
Per year, and I just billed them, so it will be coming.
The 2498.34.
Yeah, that was a discussion we had, we use that rent money.
Okay, I just didn't.
Fast squad.
Where?
That's how it's done.
12,000 came from somewhere, though.
12,000 comes from the town of Berry for the
Yeah.
rental.
Correct.
for the evening. That's where it goes, that's where it's been going.
But it was originally discussed, it was gonna go into the, fund the fast squad.
That's-
Well, it is,
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay,
it's under the income, yeah, it's on the first page. The very first page on the bottom, it says fast squad income,
okay,
and that's where
okay.
where it
gotcha.
comes from.
It just doesn't show it on the,
We haven't received it yet, and we just billed them.
gotcha,
That would make sense.
okay.
Okay. Next, is that it? Everybody else have anything? This was good.
I just have to go through and see what we've been spending.
Thanks for this, I don't remember seeing one of these.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
well,
I don't
I'll
know.
try to make that a regular
It's,
thing,
it's nice.
yeah. Want
Remember we
everybody to
used-
be informed.
So this
Remember
is,
years
this is,
back, we used to get it, we didn't know
this
where we
is a
were.
quarterly report, correct on that? So now, the next quarter will have, when you'll, as you bring one of these to the table for
Yeah,
us,
as our,
it'll be these numbers plus the
Yep.
current, so the numbers should relatively go in the same
yeah,
order.
if not.
And
something's not
that
there,
way,
we'll-
it's a good trackable thing, if you say, all right, there's a huge difference here, why?
Yeah, so as
Good,
we,
thank you.
as we wrap up our fiscal year, we'll get one more report.
I have, just looking at it again, I have a quick question, because the reserve funds are here. It says tax stabilization is $570.21. How much did they not put toward tax stabilization this time meeting? Wasn't it more than $570?
You put 100,000 towards tax stabilization, it says it on page 1. That's where we took it out of and put it in.
I'm just trying to think what the vote was at town. I think we had like $11,000 of. So that question was asked at town meeting. What does the actual fund have?
And I gave them my guesstimate based on what I read from the last.
But, so I don't have the town book in front of me, obviously.
Yeah.
But what was voted on, then what went into tax stabilization? I don't have the book.
We voted to put it in and take it back out.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed like there was
Seems
more
like
than
it was like-
$570 in it.
50,000 or something like that.
Oh. I'll try to Google it. Sorry. Shall the voters appropriate the sum of $50,000 from the tax stabilization fund to reduce 2026-2027 taxes? And just before that, so sorry, Article 12. Shall the voters approve transferring 2025 general fund surplus in the amount of $58,711.77 to the tax stabilization fund? Article 13. Shall the voters appropriate $50,000 to the tax stabilization fund to reduce the 2026-2027 taxes? So in theory, shouldn't there be $8,000 in that fund? $58,000 got voted into the fund
Right.
and $50,000 got brought out of said
Should be at
fund.
least 8,000 there.
That's what I'm saying.
So it'd be 108,
So that seems 570 is a lot less than 8,000.
I can research that more.
Yeah, because I mean, we've done that every year.
Right.
So that's the question.
Actually, should be more than 8,000. It should.
No,
be
that's what I'm
something-
saying, like, but this year alone, it should have been 8,000 and
Exactly, yeah.
some change, not $570.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can buy some Domino's pizza with that.
But was that, what was voted on town meeting day doesn't go into effect till July 1st, right?
Right.
Right, well, I can look up last year.
Right, I mean,
Everything
Well,
was
we
voted
got-
on town meeting.
I mean, but it's always been that way, though. It always seems like a lot goes, like, gets voted into it, and then some of that gets taken out.
Right.
let's just check that out, Ryan, and then let us know next meeting when we'll
Yeah.
hold everybody up.
Sorry, I just.
That's right.
Just looking.
But overall, right, if you look at the very ends of it, total fire, total general, we're at 73.5%, which is for the third quarter, you should be around 75%. So looks like it's good.
Rodney has his hand up.
Rodney?
So when we went from elected treasurer to appointed treasurer, we did it through a charter amendment, the town charter. And that's basically law. The board voted for it, town voted for it, and the state legislature voted for it. That is town law. If you run online, statute online, look up Title 24 appendix, scroll down to the town of Williamstown, it will tell you all the reports that we put together.
what title is that, Ron?
Town 24.
Title 20. I'm just gonna write that down so I don't forget. Titles.
You have to slow down to a town.
Yeah. But
Okay, so Ryan, you're gonna check that out.
Yep, we'll check.
Let us know what's going on. Okay, next item is fire department. Reserve emergency medical service reserve balance. Could you update us on that, Brian?
Yeah, as I'm going through various reserves and, picking it up, seeing the status on all those. I found that in 2024, a little over $20,000 was, used to pay for a, fire truck refurbishment bill. And I wanted to look into it a little bit more. Not entirely sure how that came about. But since in 2024, the voters at town meeting voted to set up this very specific reserve fund that was only to be used for basically bringing back the ambulance service. We need to make that reserve, account whole. And since that bill would be coming out of the fire department reserves, I would need the select board to vote to put that amount back into the emergency medical service reserve. Ideally, it would be taken out from the fire department major repair reserve, because that's where it was supposed to come out of in the first place.
Was there a major repair or equipment reserve?
Well, we have a fire truck replacement reserve, and then we have a fire department major repair reserve.
I thought at the time we voted to take out the replacement reserve because we're spending so much money in China.
Okay,
Refurbish that. Can you still be on that way?
None of it's supposed to come out of any reserves, it's all supposed to be taken out of the loan. And I don't know what happened there, I submitted all the paperwork at the time, and get the loan to go forward with the truck, plus take that back, we're gonna take some out of the, truck replacement fund and borrow 150, so why it got taken from that fund, I don't know. I don't know why, but it did, and I didn't know about it until he brought it to my attention, but, I guess we gotta get it back in there.
Back to my point was that it was, we borrowed X amount of dollars and the rest was coming out of the truck replacement.
So, yeah, so
So
I talked to Jen, and yes, the remainder of that loan is gonna be paid off in June. So by paying that off, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, but, paying that off in June, we'll have a negative balance in there until July 1, and then money will go back in, and we have 20 or something. I forget how much we'll have in there, but we won't have a lot in the truck fund. And if we take the 20,000 out, we're looking at like less than 10 grand in the truck fund. So I don't think it's smart to take it out of the truck replacement fund. Talk to Brian, I mean, the easiest, quickest thing to do would be take it for major repair. I'm nervous about doing that because I have a air cascade booster pump that's pushing 30 years old, that it's gonna be 20 to 25 grand to get that replaced. I've often thought for the last 2 years to bring it to the budget and ask for a one-time thing. But the sticker shock hits me and I tap it on and I say, give me one more year. So I don't know how much longer that's gonna, before that cracks dead. But I'm confident that it will get us through, hopefully. But to take that money out of major repairs. I guess my ask would be whatever money is left in the fire budget as of July 1, if we could take that money that's in our fire budget, whatever's left, and put it back in the major repairs. So it doesn't hurt that fund as bad. Because I did go through, prior to talking to him, I did go through and made a list of, we could route from here, we could route from there, and came up with the money from different accounts within the fire budget. But it just seems, after talking with him, Brian, it just seems much easier to take it from the major repairs, and then if we can get whatever's left put back in. I think it's just, I've taken it from the fire truck replacement fund, and we're gonna wait that even more, and then we wait another whole year to get money back. And
Well, if I remember right back, we made this deal that we added $10,000 a year to the equipment reserve fund because we needed to, that along with the loan in order to have enough to fix that truck with the budget numbers you had.
yeah, well, it kind of went back, that 10,000, making the decision to put 10,000 in a year, additional 10,000 in a year, dated back before the truck project. And then we found, after that, we found out the frame rail had gone bad on engine one, and that's what brought up the truck refurbish project for that. But the decision to put 10,000 in was a couple of years, or at least 1 year prior to the project. But yeah, we had bulk of the money came from that, paid for the project, and then we just needed more to, and that's when we put the loan out. But, you know,
Do you see any need for new trucks on the horizon?
I hope not. The answer is no. Unless an engine, you know, a motor blows, we'll get that fixed, but I got no desire, I got no ambition to spec out a new fire truck.
just from my experience owning equipment stuff, I think I'd want to keep, if we had enough after July 1st to settle this thing out of the equipment reserve fund, I would think it'd be better off to do that rather than take it out of your repair fund, because you never know what's gonna break it or when. And that was the original deal that we made. We're gonna borrow X amount of dollars and take the rest out of the equipment replacement fund. And if anybody was on the board back then, remember that? Did the truck go over budget or?
No, that's why I can't figure out why the money got taken from that, because we had the money within our reserves. We needed the remainder of the loan through the project. I don't know. I don't know why that happens, but.
So I have to read something here because I'm a firefighter in Williamstown. This is the conflict of interest policy. Briefly state the nature of conflict. I was involved in ensuring the tax money allocated to the Williamstown Emergency Medical Services Fund was being properly and legally utilized on April 8th, 2024. I maintained neutrality of being a member of the Williamstown Fire Department by following the correct legal grounds versus supporting allocation of money to the fire department illegally. I will only include myself as a select board member regarding how money was misappropriated for the reimbursement of Williamstown Engine 1. I will recuse myself as a selectman regarding how misappropriated money will be returned to the Williamstown Fire Department, or by the Williamstown Fire Department to the Williamstown Emergency Medical Services Fund. Next is explain a relationship. I am a member of the Williamstown Fire Department. And then the third part of this, state the actions. I will only be present to discuss the money or how the money was misappropriated. I will recuse myself regarding how misappropriation will be corrected. Last part, explain why, despite the relationship, you will act on the matter. I was involved originally to ensure the money that was misappropriated was not to be misappropriated. These new findings show that the money was misused, and the use or mistake was never brought to the select board even after annual audits have occurred. So the big question, and I'll be quite open about this, so I all the selectmen got a misappropriation timeline today. April 8th, the select board had voted yes to utilize the money that was put away for an ambulance. I was the nay vote. Then later that evening, the town clerk emailed us, or emailed me, saying that the way the town meeting minutes were read were not appropriate. Basically, it said, missed the whole cue that it was just for an ambulance. Then April 9th, the town clerk emailed all selectmen, excluding Selectman McCarthy, because I don't believe he has an email address, about that issue. April 9th, an unknown time, invoice 13 from B&G Repair on February 5th, 2025 was paid from account 075-7-90-90.1, which is emergency medical services on April 9th, 2025 in the amount of $20,365. And then I wrote here, the account number 07-7-90-90.1 was not present on the warrant 22094, which was given to the selectmen for the month of March. However, all other warrants had account numbers on them. Those were 22095, 22096, 22097, and 22098. Unknown date, unknown time. I contacted Jacqueline Higgins, the town manager, by phone discussing the legality of using Williamstown Emergency Medical Services fund to be used for different expenditures than what was appropriated by the town at town meeting March 5th, 2024. I requested Jacqueline Higgins to get legal opinion from the town attorney to ensure the money within the Williamstown Emergency Medical Services Fund was being utilized. On April 15th, I contacted the VLCT, and they could not give me a legal opinion, and they requested or informed me to contact legal, and I think that's the unknown date, unknown time. I'll be quite honest, I cannot remember when I spoke to the previous town manager, but that phone call did occur. April 17th, Jacqueline Higgins received an email from Nicholas Lowe, an attorney, and he was actually mentioned tonight for a completely different issue regarding the legal potential for this. And it was found that we were not following 24 VSA 2804. Especially mentioned in the email was that and I'm going to use quotes, was not used in reserve. The word reserve was not put on that. So that basically made our vote null and void. May 13th, that's the next select board meeting. Nicholas Lowe's opinion was brought forth regarding 24 VSA 2804. The select board then voted to have Engine 1's reimbursement paid by utilizing funds within the Williamstown Fire Department's accounts and an M&T bank loan. Again, additionally, I've already said this, but the warrant 22094 did not mention the account number that money was coming from. But all other warrants did mention where money was coming from. Then, on August 26th, 2025, invoice 672 from B&G Repair on August 26th, 2025 was paid from account fire truck replacement on August 26th, 2025 in the amount of $20,365. And the note for that is the account number 060-7-90-90.1 was present. So that is where I have a concern with this. What I am not understanding as a selectman is clearly there was some push and pull on what was legal. And the money was used literally the next day after the budget had gone through, or the vote had gone through, to utilize the ambulance money. But once it was realized it was not legal, it was never brought before the select board, then an error was made. And it was not found until a new town manager was brought in. And all the selectmen have done it. These are all, and the public can certainly see these, but these are basically all the pages, emails to verify that what I just stated is true. So that's just where and I will recuse myself once a solution is brought forth, but I am quite upset that an error had occurred and it was not, we all make mistakes in life, but you gotta own up to it when you make a mistake. And I look back through every warrant after this today, and there was only two others, and I have submitted them to the current town manager. One was regarding a fire helmet shield, and the other two were for bus turnarounds on Weir Road and other issues, so he is looking into those as well. And anyone question? Anyone's more than welcome to question me.
Well, from what I know about it, I have no idea why it got taken out of there, but I know why it got put back, if it was taken out prior to our second vote.
Yeah.
But I have no idea.
So it got put back.
No, the second half of the money that they do to pay the fire truck, they were the rails, right, the frame rails. Those, the first one came out of the ambulance. Then at that point, it was shown that that money is not to be used, and then it came out of the correct fund. And interestingly enough, as well, like I said, if you look at the, there's lots of.
But apparently there's still $20,000 that didn't get put
Correct.
back that we need to.
Yes. But the warrant that was August 26, 2024, looks completely different than the initial warrant for the same amount of money. So that's where I'm frustrated and understanding why some warrants say what account it came from and this one did not. Because I've heard people say, well, it was a mistake, or we all make mistakes, but own up to your mistakes. I don't think it was an error. I typed the account number on my computer today and going from using my keypad, going from an account that's 075, all the last digits are all the same. But 075 would be like 075, whereas the next account is 060. The numbers, if you type them together, like, you know what I mean? Typing them are completely different on the keyboard. It's not like 012 and 013. I can understand someone making a mistake in that regard. Those two numbers are very close to each other. But it seems like the money was initially spent quickly, but it was never in that moment, as it was voted by the select board, the previous town manager could do it legally that way. But then obviously on April 15th, April 17th, it was brought forth that the way it was done was not legally done. And that should have been brought, and in my opinion, I could be completely wrong legally, that should have been brought back to the select board and said, hey, we took this money out of the ambulance account because that was an initial vote, but we didn't do it legally. We got to figure out the solution to do it. And that never got forth, and it took 2 years, almost to the day. Or sorry, 1 year almost, 2 years almost to the day. To when this actually came to public knowledge.
This all started before my time.
You're lucky not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
You know, was it gonna swing, I guess, I don't know.
All right.
I got it.
Barbara.
I didn't hit that key first.
They were told that they did it wrong, but yeah, the minutes I typed on town meeting day was how it went down. I mean, it was how we did it on town meeting day is exactly. In fact, I still have the recording.
No, I'm not questioning that. The question is that the money was spent incorrectly.
Yeah, but yeah, everything.
No, everything you did was correct.
I was gonna say,
No.
the way town meeting went down that day.
Yeah, no,
People voted.
So
The lawyers,
the 20,000 that came out of that, is that the 20,000?
Yeah, it's gonna come back out of them
I'm kind of confused.
fire
One
department.
bill or two bills from?
two bills.
There were two bills.
Two bills.
So split exactly in half, so they both equal $20,365.
You get paid half up front and half at the end of the job. Basically. And you,
So half of it.
I,
gets put
I
back.
don't, do you have the bill? I didn't know
I
if I
can
should,
bring it with me, I should. We don't have the bill
cause I didn't bring that folder, but he provided us the bill.
last meeting.
Was the last one, I think I know it came this week.
Jennifer has it.
I don't know.
Is it for 40,000 something?
No, it's 20,365.
So that company got paid twice.
Right.
That's not good.
That what?
They got paid twice then.
No, this is the one that came out of the, emergency medical.
I know, but then they got paid again 20,000.
Yeah.
Later. They got paid 20,000.
What you're looking for is the invoice. You don't have the
Oh,
invoice.
yeah, I don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So there is an invoice.
There is an invoice,
That was correctly, that was 40,000.
last meeting's packet.
what was it? What was the price when Brooke put those steel beams under the bridge by my house? Was that around the same time?
Isn't that general plan?
And I think it's probably around $20,000. So those two invoices may go for two different jobs. One might have been the rails for the fire truck and one might have been the steel beams that went underneath the bridge.
Well, one came out of the fire account, one came out of the EMS account, so
However that did, but I'm just saying that's the only other job I remember of.
I don't know, it was the same.
Putting steel beams in.
I wish I would have brought that with me, but one came out of fire
I don't remember
department.
what that was, but it sounds like it was about that same amount.
Wow.
I think.
So then it might not be the fire department that's required to pay this back if, who was the other one that got?
There is an invoice.
That's what
There is, okay.
In last meeting's packet, there's an invoice in there for 40,000 something.
Does it specifically say for a fire truck?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, it's supposed to do.
Again, in lack of a better word, what makes me not happy about this, a mistake was made. Not necessarily a mistake right at the moment. But once it came to knowing that we were not to touch that money, it was never owned that money had been touched.
Mhm.
And it has been sitting in a dark closet until we've gotten a new town manager.
Well, we're gonna take care of it now.
So,
So,
like I said,
so half of it's already been put back, correct?
no, half came out correctly.
Half of it was paid correctly.
Okay.
20,365 came out of the,
Well, as far as the select board is concerned, you were on the board at the time, so.
No, I will be honest to the public. I have now learned that looking at, and actually it's nice that we just got this budget, because I was very curious. Because if everyone looks at their budgets in their town book, you know, for instance, I'll just throw a random one out here, sewer is 001-6-04-20.03. I think it's probably our due diligence to make sure when we go through our warrants that we are actually reassuring that every account has a number. So for instance, if it's a sewer number and it's paying for roads, probably is not coming from the right account. So I'm going to have to make up a special spreadsheet to make sure that things are, and I'm not blaming anyone. We all make clerical errors. But again, the problem is I am pretty sure they knew when I say they, the former town manager knew where the money came from and did not correct it. That's what I'm saying, unless someone can prove that, but it's been hidden for 2 years.
I mean, we can't.
No, we can't, but I'm
Now,
just
so-
saying. And the ironic thing is it's never been caught in an audit.
well, it's not missing money. There's
Yeah.
a whole trail,
Yeah.
but it's not really something that would find in an audit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, please just take the money from the major.
Please,
And
God.
if there's any money left over within our budget, put it, you know, if you guys are willing to vote, put it back into that. Well, I don't know why it happened. There's obviously an invoice. It happened. We're responsible for it. I just get it back. This whole project thing is driving me up the wall. Wishing everything the same thing, so, you wanna know how I really feel about it, but it's, put the money back, it needs to go back, it needs to be in there. And,
Well, the project turned out to be a good thing. A lot better than spending $1 million on a fire truck. You guys worked hard on it. We appreciate that. We just gotta correct this. Whatever.
And I've got,
Was they-
feelers out the legal to see if we can actually put money from the general fund roll it into a reserve for how we're
Only out
supposed
of
to
the
legally
fire,
go
only out of the
out of the
fire.
fire.
Yeah, okay.
Make sure we do that properly, so.
We talked about this afternoon, he asked me the same question you did, about if we could take any reserve money out of the fire department, put it into that account, and I said,
I'm sure we can.
Just check.
I just wanna make sure we can.
legalities of it. I know like the highway fund stays in the highway fund or whatever. But the general funds, whatever is left over is supposed to get voted to put that tax stabilization fund or wherever they decide to do it at town meeting, so. So I just wanted to check, make sure that that could legally be done.
I'll just let me know, so I know.
Okay, are you, I think we're looking for a vote on that.
So you wanna take it out of the, repair fund instead of the truck fund?
I would prefer that, cause unfortunately, inevitably, someday, we're gonna have to buy a new fire truck, or a new used fire truck. And
Well, wait, you get your money back in July, right?
yes, but. With which account you talked about?
I don't know, I'm all confused about it.
With the fire, if you took it from the fire truck replacement fund. We have to pay the loan back in, June. So by doing that before July 1, it'll put us in a negative 24,000 something. So then when money goes back in and then the negative gets taken away, I forget the number, but there's, I think less than 20,000 or something in the positive will be in the truck fund. So, but then if you take the 20,000, pay this back, there's a couple grand left.
Can we wait a couple months to put this money back?
I mean,
Huh?
what's that?
Can we wait a couple months to put this money back so they're not in the negative so much? I mean, we ain't buying a new ambulance.
They're not buying a new fire truck either.
Right, no, and that was the whole point of this, was to save.
In 2 years, I'll see what another couple months is big, but
That's what I'm thinking.
I think my personal opinion is the deal was, when we did the whole thing originally, was gonna come out of the truck replacement fund. And I'd rather see you do that. Wait till after July 1st and do it, so we don't show the negative balance.
Yeah.
And then leave the repair fund as it is, 'cause like we just talked about, you don't seem seeing having a new truck in the near future. Something may break on one of these trucks and you're just gonna have to try to borrow it from something else. We had that, that's the way we voted on, that's the way it was set up to do it that way, and my personal opinion is wait till after July 1st and take it out of that, replace it at that point.
Well, that's fine, I think we can put that as a vote pending that date, and then pending legal advice, making sure everything is legal and across the board. And it should be all.
Well, that will be legal if we do it that way.
No,
What we was talking
I-
about doing was
Dotting
the
the i's.
extra money was go,
Just dotting the i's and crossing the t's, Larry.
right,
I guess we're confused, I'm sorry, I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
confusing myself from this part.
You can't. Dot your i's and cross enough t's in this goddamn.
So that's why I say it, that's why I'll add a couple of dots in there.
Is there anything? It's just on paper basically that it shows negative, right? If we did it now until the money goes back in July 1st.
Well, they wouldn't have anything in their repair account.
Or it's not the repair account, it's the
truck
replacement.
Yeah.
fund.
Yeah, it honestly, I mean, it's just gonna show negative on paper, but in the end, it's all the same, so it doesn't matter if you do it tonight or you wait 2 months, it's gonna be the same. Just, they're gonna show more of a negative number on paper in the report, but.
I mean, I'd rather just do it now and get it done with, since it was done wrong, and take care of it, but.
I have no problem either way, but
Yeah.
I do think it's still
I
should
just
come out of
throw
that.
it out there.
Yes, I agree with it coming out of the truck replacement fund.
Yes.
Okay,
Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to replace that money, whatever the dollar amount was,
$20,365.
$20,365 out of the fire department truck replacement fund.
Yeah, move it.
Move it back into the ambulance.
It's under paper,
Whatever.
Ambulance reserve
Emergency
fund.
medical service.
Yes.
Here's a second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And this is gonna be done right away, you said, right?
Yes, that's what they just voted.
Okay.
Did you vote?
Fortunately, that's just
Yeah.
takes
Okay,
care of
I heard.
that at least.
Roger?
In the future moving forward, you guys get the report that the charter says you're supposed to get. And you guys actually read them. You have 5 more sets of eyes on these books. That's something.
Mhm.
And that's the reason we went to appoint a treasurer, Sarah. With the work at the reports. Never knew what was going on. And I just urge you guys to read the report, get the reports and read them.
Mhm.
Anything else? Anybody else have anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks, William.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, William. Okay, recreation board members and resignations and appointments.
We don't have any appointments, because those folks did show up today, but we have 2 resignation letters in your packets. One from Tyler Ballard and one from
Pete DeVerna,
Pete DeVerna. So, Ballard.
carry on.
They dropped off, and he just, I guess, need to vote to accept them.
Got a motion on that?
Yeah, make a motion, we accept their resignations.
I'll second that.
Motion made, seconded. Any discussion?
Hopefully some people will be willing to come and join and continue the group.
Right?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? FY 27 municipal road grants, aid program letter of intent.
This is a letter that comes out, every year, just saying we would very much like the grant money that, people would want to give us. This would be primarily to do ditching and culverts. This year we get, I think it's about 12 grand. But, I just need Larry to, well, I need you guys to vote to participate in the program, and then I just need Larry to sign where it says representative. If you wanna read it, but it's
This is just to get.
a letter of intent to get grant money.
Okay,
It's guaranteed grant money, but we just have to give them a letter saying, yes, we would very much like your money.
gotcha.
No big strings attached to it.
There is no strings, no matches, no strings. It's all based on the amount of road miles we have in class 2 and class 3. They give us X amount of dollars every year.
Okay.
Sounds like there'll be much less dollars in the coming years. The legislature backs away at the road budgets.
Is it, so we bought the new excavator a year or 2 ago for the ditching. And then be used just for the,
It has to be used for like a physical ditching or culvert.
but so could we specifically be culverts versus ditching? Or how would we
Yeah, sure.
use it, how would we utilize it for ditching? That help pay for
We
fuel
would,
or?
all I have to do is go to our district person and say, we're gonna do a project on this road spanning from here to here. We're gonna do ditching, we're gonna buy a culvert for this much.
And that was
And
basically,
they just give me the thumbs up.
$4,000 in material. We roll.
so it basically, our crew would be doing the work, it's just helping pay for the. Yeah, that's my question.
Well, bonus money to pay for some of that stuff, we're already gonna do, so.
So I want to make a motion to, have you sign this letter.
Make a motion for Larry to sign that.
I'll say it.
Anybody second it?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 6, 8, 9, 13, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, John, guess you're up.
All right. Well, good evening.
Thanks for coming.
Some of you may know me, some don't, but John Benson. I was appointed on the 2nd of January to fill the vacancy in the Vermont Senate that Larry Hart stepped down from. So I have a tenure in the legislature of 3.5 months, so I wanted to get around to all of the 13 towns that are in the Orange District and just meet each of the select boards and let you meet me and tell you a little bit about myself. I thought I was retired up until January 2nd, but Governor thought I was the right guy to fill the slot, so I said, fine, I'll do the best job I can in the legislature. I spent the majority of my working career as a civil engineer. Did some work here in Williamstown over the years and a whole bunch of towns throughout the state of Vermont and New England. So I spent my life trying to make life better for people by solving problems on infrastructure, housing, whatever it might be. So in the legislature, and I live in Brookfield. My wife and I bought the house we're in 50 years ago this summer. So we haven't been moving around much, raised 2 boys there, both out on their own and doing well. One works for DMS up here in Barrie, and the other flies for JetBlue. So we'll figure, well, in the same household, completely different in their likes and dislikes, but be that as it may. So in the legislature, each senator is appointed to 2 committees. Unlike the House, each member is appointed to a single committee. I was appointed to Health and Welfare and Institutions. So those are the 2 committees I serve on. But I thought I'd just bring you up to speed on a few things. You heard your town managers make the reference that you're going to be seeing less money coming in for transportation. And I can tell you that's the truth. What's happened is our whole transportation funding system has been based on the gas tax. What's happened is we've gotten much more efficient vehicles. We now have hybrid vehicles on the road. We have all electric vehicles on the road, and we're seeing far less revenue coming into the state supporting the transportation fund. What we saw, the Agency of Transportation tries to pave about 200 miles of state highway every year. Last year, they were able to do 100 miles. This year, it's going to be even less. And projects are starting to stack up because there just isn't the money there to fund a number of the projects. So we on the town level, and I find it interesting coming here and listening, because I just left our select board meeting because I'm chair of our select board and been there for about 17 years. My crew actually has been helping set up these meetings to come before the different boards. He and I served on the town select board together for a few years, and now Mike serves on the board in Tunbridge. So I'm sure you saw similar things. We just looked at our 3/4 budget this evening as well. So many of things that you folk deal with, I've dealt with for years and can relate to fairly well. But that's kind of where we are on the transportation side. The governor has indicated he will veto any new tax. He said Vermonters are already taxed enough, and
We're not gonna be looking for increasing revenues through taxation. So that's the word he's put out to the legislature. Some people are listening, some people are not listening, but we'll see when we get to the end of the session where that all sugars out.
Oh, yeah, cause they can override his veto and tax us anyways,
Well, that is true.
unfortunately.
If you get, the makeup of the legislature is a little different now than it was, a couple of years ago, so.
Yeah, there's no super majority.
Correct.
Vote short doing that now.
So, that's not to say that that couldn't happen, it still could happen. But I'd say it's less likely to happen than in the past. On healthcare, I'll just mention that we all know cost of healthcare has been going up. And it impacts almost everything, whether it's school budgets, whether it's your own business, your own pocketbook. And one of the problems that we have is Vermont's demographic. We're a very, very small state. And we're an aging population. And if you look at healthcare, you have a section that's Medicare, you have a section that's Medicaid, and you have a section that is self-insured. So in other words, like the teachers union is self-insured, or the education groups. The state itself is self-insured, so they're not in the same pool that the private individual is, that I don't know whether you guys do any of your insurance, or you do it through the league, but probably don't, but you get your health insurance for your road crew and so forth. So you're in that pool, but it's a small pool, so we don't have a lot of clout. We only have one major insurance company in Vermont, and that's Blue Cross Blue Shield. They almost went bankrupt a couple of years ago, and if it wasn't for another state stepping in to bail them out, we wouldn't even have Blue Cross Blue Shield here at the moment. So it's a real problem, and we're looking for solutions, but it's a very difficult one to solve when you have such a small population, and nobody wants to actually compete for our business. So that's the reality of where we are in that front. Education, as you're probably all aware, the governor is pushing for consolidation. And what I've seen so far, the Senate passed a bill as it relates to education, but it's not on consolidation. What it does do is there's kind of a statewide average for the cost per student, and basically a town can decide to spend more than that. So they can spend right now up to 118% of that established value through the education formula and not be penalized. If they go above that, basically they're double taxed for every dollar they spend above that amount. The bill that was passed through the Senate lowers that from 118% to 112%. Not a huge change, but something trying to reduce some of the increase in cost for education. The governor had proposed again this year to take $100 million out of the general fund and move it into the education fund to try to keep the increase in property tax from going double digits like we've seen, and be down in the 2 to 3% range. The bill that came out of the House did not do that. They basically took about 50. And so right now the projection is that you'll see property tax rates go up by about 7% this coming year to fund education. But that's where we are now. And I don't know how much you know about how things move through the State House, but funding bills start in the House, and then at crossover, approximately halfway through the session, they come over to the Senate, and the Senate reviews those, and they can change the bills if they change it. Then at the end of the session, it goes to a conference committee to work out the differences between the two before it then goes to the governor for signature. So while that's where it stands today, that's not to say what the Senate will do with the education bill as it makes its way through the Senate. The other thing that the House did was develop some redistricting, but it's all voluntary, that there is no actual requirement in the bill that says these towns now all need to merge into this new school district. So that's kind of what's going on that front. And again, that's come over now to the Senate, and we'll see where the Senate Education Committee takes that. Before we'll see what's actually coming out in the end. So housing, that's another big piece, and Act 181. And a lot of folk are getting pretty round up against 181 and where that's going and how that's going to affect rural lands and rural property.
What's your stance on that?
What's that?
What's your stance on that?
Well, I wouldn't have voted for it. I think that the bill there are some good pieces in the bill, very few, but there's some really bad pieces in the bill. And there really was not, from my looking into it, a robust education process involving the public to really understand what this bill entails and what it was going to mean to communities and to individual property owners. And, you know, in my arena, I mean, I worked in the Act 250 arena most of my career. And when I started, I think I did my first Act 250 permit in about 75. And that permit application was about as thick as that stack of papers. An Act 250 application now for any kind of sizable project is notebooks. And, you know, there was, and I don't have a problem with the base bill. The base bill, when it came into being in 1970, was when a lot of the federal environmental regs started, when Vermont started and most states started their whole environmental movement. And at that point in time, we didn't have much for land use regulations. And Act 250 came in as a result of some of the work that was going on in yes, and basically there was no rules. It was a free-for-all, and so there was kind of a need to do something. But since that time, you know, and they always talk about the 10 criteria, which there really aren't 10 criteria. There's 28 criteria. There's an A, B, C, D, E of criteria 9. There's so it's a misnomer when they say 10 criteria. But a lot of the first group of criteria now are all actually covered by technical permits. Those didn't exist back when Act 250 first came into being. But any sizable project needs a water wastewater permit, needs a stormwater permit, needs a construction stormwater permit, would need an air quality permit, would need a bunch of these technical permits, a wetlands permit. They didn't exist. And so what's happened too with Act 250 and where some of this tier 3 and road rule would put people as a single family home could find themselves needing an Act 250 permit. Which, is just crazy.
For your driveway.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy for that kind of growth. And these maps that are being created for the tier 3, which are supposed to protect critical wildlife corridors and stream corridors and so forth, nobody's actually seen the maps. They come out with some versions of them, but it's not the final map. So we got a law that's going into effect without anybody really knowing what it actually is. And there's a body creating these maps that's really not accountable to you and I, and you can appeal their process to the courts. So there's a lot of issues with this bill. The Senate passed what's called S-325. And what that does, it does not repeal any of the parts of Act 181, but what it does do is it pushes back the enactment date. So the road rule would not go into effect this year, like the bill actually says it should, but would go into effect in 2028. And the tier 3 would go into effect in 2030, with the idea of giving more time to actually figure out what this really is and to make better decisions and reform. The Senate did vote to repeal tier 3 in its entirety, and it did not pass, and it went down on a strictly party vote. Every R voted to repeal, every D voted to retain. So that bill is now over in the House. And in fact, I went to a little forum this morning on 181, and the two House members were there. One serves on the House Natural Resources Committee, and he indicated that they are seriously considering further changes. So that's potentially good news, but I believe it when we see it, because both those individuals also voted to override the governor's veto when the governor vetoed the bill. So we'll see. I did tell Larry because I knew that Larry had a project here in Williamstown to do some housing here in the village, but was told he was going to need an Act 250 permit for that project. One of the amendments that we put forward to this 325 was the way it was structured up to 2030 as a way to boost housing. Was it exempted the need for an Act 250 permit for housing in a village center that had water and sewer capabilities, but also had permanent zoning and subdivision bylaws. The amendment that I put forth struck the requirement for zoning and subdivision bylaws. And
Now we're for Williamstown.
yes, and 125 other towns in the state do not have permanent zoning and subdivision bylaws. And I ended up having to, and it's a complicated process of amendment on amendment, but I won't go into that. But I had a good conversation with the chair of the Senate's Natural Resources Committee, because it's their bill, and so I had to work with them. And I got some pushback a little bit on a couple of members in the committee. Is this comment of Well, but that's what we want them to do. We don't want to reward towns for not doing what we want them to do. And I took that away and I got thinking about it afterwards and I said, what do you mean we? It's not we, you guys, the people out here. That's who put us into office. And it's our job to carry out the will of the people, not us to tell the people what the will is. So that kind of concerned me a little bit, but there is some of that attitude. We know better. And I'm not gonna point fingers at anybody because some people think they're doing the right thing. I may not agree with some of that, but that's the way it is. So those are some of the things that are going on in the State House. You know, we are, if we follow what we're supposed to do, which I don't think will happen, we should be at the end of the session, at the end of the month. The governor has made it clear we're not recessing until the legislature deals with the education issue in some manner that he can accept, because he's made it clear that we cannot continue raiding the general fund to keep bailing out the education fund, because there are a whole lot of other things that therefore aren't getting done because we're taking the money here that's supposed to be used for all these purposes and we're putting it over here. So when we actually adjourn is a question.
I just add something back to the housing issue, just so people are aware how carried away this thing gets. That where the Rosewood Inn was down there that we took down, the deal we had with the select board when we purchased it was that either had to be refurbished within 18 months or torn down within 6 months. And the thing after set for 26 years is too far gone to even think about refurbishing it. That lot is 1/3 of an acre. Had a 6-bedroom inn on it with a restaurant down the first floor. Actually used more sewer and water, had more sewer and water allocation from it, the state than the 8-unit apartments I wanted to put in down there. And then just because the town didn't have zoning, Act 250 said, I gotta go through the Act 250 process for that one little lot. I mean, that's how ridiculous this thing is. I can see it in my project up on the hill, there's a lot more lots, but that's where we're
You
at.
know, we're talking about affordable housing. Well, here you go, adding a whole bunch of cost
Yeah.
onto the house for a location that we all know makes perfect sense to move forward, but that's the way the bill is structured. So I'm hoping for Williamstown's sake and 125 other towns that the amendment that we put into that survives through the House and comes out where the governor can sign it. Because if we're serious about housing, we don't want to penalize towns. We want towns to be able to move forward with whatever they feel is the appropriate process for their community and be able to help in some of this housing need. But, you know, I do feel right at home in this building because I spent 35 years on our fire department, so I spent some long nights right here. Yeah. So anything else? Anybody has a question, something I could, or you want me to take back to the State House? Be glad to do that.
Just vote no on everything.
There are a few good bills that do come.
I have a couple questions. I don't know if you'll know the answer or not, but from what I've been informed that it was the state that forced the teachers union into certain healthcare. Off that, a little ways back.
That would have been before my time, and I'm not aware of that. I know that the teacher it's not just the teachers, it's the, you know, all of the staff and so forth.
You're right.
as part of their, contract, self-insured. And they have a broker that, you know, basically Blue Cross Blue Shield, but it's not on the open market, that runs their health insurance. And that's all part of their union contract as to what percentage of their health care the teachers pay, what plan they receive, and so forth.
Okay, because I just remember there was somebody on the school board at the town meeting that said that this, I believe she said the state forced the teachers union into a certain healthcare contract.
The state at one time tried to wanted to basically have one contract for all the teachers across the state and have them, instead of negotiating through individual school boards or districts, but that never passed.
Okay.
So
Maybe I missed it.
I don't know, but I should
Misremembering,
ask that
but-
question, find out whether or not the state played a role in that.
Okay, because she just had mentioned whether it was the state or, I
Yeah.
thought she said the state,
I mean, what
but
I hear.
she said that the rates have, except for this year, the rates basically went up like double digits
Yeah.
every year except for this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just seems like if it was the state, like,
The state
Yeah.
has some impact in that the state can dictate some of the things that need to be covered by an insurance plan. If you're going to provide health insurance in the state, it may set certain standards that need to be met. So it can have an impact there. But as far as the state dictating the actual, plan, I'm not aware of that, but I can find out
Okay.
more about that.
okay, yeah, I was just curious. And then do you know of any state law or statute that says that schools have to push kids through to the next grade?
No, I don't know of any statute there.
Okay.
But again, I can ask somebody on the education committee, but I'm not aware that that's a requirement. In fact, I find that to be a strange requirement, but.
Yeah, and it's just funny because like, we voted down our school budget and from what I've seen, the two main rising costs has been healthcare, like things we can't really, it's all through the insurances and that stuff. So healthcare and then special education. But from what I've seen from what they've presented, I mean, they can't do anything about healthcare, but they didn't even attempt to see where they could cut special education. Special education keeps going up, but they're not looking at ways to be able to cut special education.
So if you look at Vermont, and compare it to the rest of the country, we have one of, if not the highest, student to teacher ratio in the country, and we have one of the highest student to non-teacher staff in the country. We have, again, we're right up near the top of the cost per student in the country. But we are not, so we're at near the top on all of those, but we are not at the top when it comes to performance. And actually, our performance is declining as opposed to going up. So there is definitely something out of balance if we're, I think people would be much more inclined to feel good. They still not feel real good about paying a very high tax for education if the result was our kids were coming out top in the nation. But that's not where we are.
Just like the homeless issue, right? We're paying $100 million and the rates tripled.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting with history. My grandfather graduated from the 8th grade, fought in World War II and worked for the US Postal Service, and he worked until pretty much the day he died. And he was smarter than most people with an 8th grade education.
It's very true, but you know, and that's the other thing, the student population is about 20% lower now than it was 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so the teacher staff, and particularly in what you just pointed out in the special ed area, are increasing, and the student population is decreasing. So that's why the governor feels that consolidation is key, because he feels that they're, you know, the kids in some of these very small schools aren't really getting the benefit of the larger schools in terms of the curriculum and so forth that's being.
We consolidated it 5 years ago and we ain't saved the $1.
Yep, I know Larry has told me that that hasn't worked real well for you.
No, it has not.
And,
Yeah, we got a good situation. It worked well for Northfield. They told us that right at the start. Nothing against Northfield, they're a good town. But
yeah,
the way they got it set up, you vote on the school budget. Don't know if Williamstown voted against it or for it, because they mingle all the votes together.
so there's,
They got a system set up so they can't.
yeah, I'm not advocating
No, I
one way
know.
or the other. I'm just saying,
And they got a school board that we're outvoted like 3-2 or whatever the big
One
up
extra
is.
vote.
5-4.
Was it?
It's 5-4.
Five to
North
four?
has one
Well,
extra
anyway,
vote.
we're outvoted.
but something's gotta change, because we cannot continue on the path that we're currently on, because
So
pretty soon, none of us are gonna be able to afford to live here, you know?
we were better off before we consolidated,
That point.
tax wise,
Realize.
everything else. I had to
Yeah.
figure out a way to get out of it. I'd be the first one to vote for it. And
Well,
like I said, it's nothing against Northfield, just the way it's set up is not right to start with. We went on the regional planning commission, I don't know if it's still that same way, Rich. There's one town, one vote. They tried to weight the voting system to like Berry City or Berry Town, and up here would have 3-4
Yeah.
votes to Williamstown's one, or some others have our size, but we always held that one town,
Well,
one vote.
You know, one of
That
the
works
things
good, cause it keeps everybody's feet in the fire.
that I mentioned to one of the senators on the education committee, I said, look, we spent a ton of money after, you know, as a result of COVID, so that we could do remote learning. So why aren't we using that technology that we paid for? So if a student's in a small school and doesn't have access to certain things, so why can't they tie into the school that does? And be able to share that value in education? I said, we supposedly bought the equipment. Why not use it? So I think there's ways to get there, but you know, we have a very strong lobby that doesn't want to see anything change.
Larry, well, it'd be all right if I took a picture of you guys, I'll leave you out of it, but,
Don't break your camera.
everybody look happy. Thank you very much.
So anything else I can answer or try to answer for you or take back with me? I got 2 questions.
Yeah.
All I can say is I've known John for, I don't know, at least 40 years. And, he's always been a straight shooter, and I'm very glad the governor picked him. He's a great choice. And, yeah, he decided he's gonna run again. I hope people support him. Be the first time run, actually, is pointed to it. But
Yeah,
he's a good person for the job, for sure.
yeah, thank you, Larry.
So bring your petition, Richard.
You're supposed to have.
I was gonna say. That's right, we're going down the dump, right?
That's right. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. And Mike,
Thank you, guys.
okay, the old business round the table.
did you bring the, things we need to sign for policies?
Yeah, there's a giant stack of you guys.
No, there's a.
You've been on track over there. Yeah.
No, not.
Not really, that doesn't sound real convincing.
Well, no, actually, Mr. Benson answered some questions. I've had some concerned citizens reach out to me about this. Act 181 and what they can do to progress as far as getting a petition signed against it. They're seeing it in other towns, and I said, I don't have the answer, so why not have a better reason to ask about it right now? So, what, do you have any idea?
I don't, but I can find out.
Thank you.
I'm all set.
Correctly.
This next thing is, we have no executive session, nothing, right?
Nope.
I make a motion, we adjourn, Mr.
Sounds like a
Chair.
good idea.
I'll second that motion.
First base, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming.